In this video, we're going to show you how to install the cooling fan on your Ford Focus located behind your radiator. Using our 19mm socket, we're going to loosen and remove the lug nuts. Remove it and set it aside. Now with the wheel removed, it's going to give us better access to the screw on the splash shield. Now we want to go ahead and remove the lower splash shield here. We're going to start by removing the 7mm screw right inside the wheel well area. There's one here on the passenger side and one on the driver's side. I'm going to go ahead and use my 7mm ratchet or socket with my ratchet. In some cases you can use power tools to do something like this here, but because they are small and if they're rusty, you risk breaking them, so it's best to do them by hand. All right, remove this one here and repeat for the driver's side. Now on the lower front portion of the bumper, there's going to be a series of these 7mm screws running right across the front. I want to go ahead and loosen and remove all of these. All right, let's go ahead and remove the rest across the front. Now that we have all of our hardware out, we're going to go ahead and come to the center here. There are 3 plastic push pin retainers. I'm going to use my trim tool. Go up here and you want to pop out the center of this button. And then pull out the base. I'm going to do that for all 3 of these. Sometimes these are brittle. They might break on you. So just be prepared for that you might have to replace these. With all of our hardware out, let's go ahead and pull the splash shield out. And set that aside. Now in order to drop out our cooling fan assembly, there are 2 bolts. There's one down on the passenger side here, and then there's going to be one on the driver's side. Now when we unbolt that there, the upper portion here has clips, and the cooling fan is going to drop down and out of those clips. So we need to raise up the vehicle and access that hardware from down below. You know, the splash shield removed, you want to go ahead and disconnect the connector on our horn. There's a little tab right here, pinch and pull. Then we're going to use our trim tool to go ahead and release this little retainer here. Just pry that up and out. Sometimes these will break. They are fragile, they're old. Just like that. It's not the end of the world. You can always run a wire tie through that to hold that later on. Follow the harness up here. There's going to be 2 plastic retainers. We're going to use our trim tool here. If you can, try and pop those out. Hopefully able to reuse those later. Just using our trim tool here to get that out. Sometimes these break just because they're old and brittle. And then right here is the electrical connector for the fan relay. I want to go ahead and disconnect that. In most cases, you can press down on the tab on the connector itself and wiggle this off. Just like so. And just tuck this off to the side. You know, with the vehicle raised, we're going to go ahead and locate the 8mm bolts. There's one right here. And then over on the other side, there's one right above the lower radiator hose over here. We're going to use our 8mm socket and our ratchet to go ahead, loosen, and remove these. We chose to use our 1/4 inch setup. Plenty sufficient for removing these. We are going to be reusing the hardware, so make sure you don't lose that. And repeat for the other side. Now with the hardware removed, we want to go ahead and pull this out towards you and pull it down. We're basically dislodging it from the clips up top. And just work it down around the wiring harnesses. Like so. Slide it out. Now when installing our cooling fan assembly, about 2/3 of the way up, there's going to be plastic tabs. They're kind of like hooks facing downward. Our fan is going to press up into these tabs. There's one here on the driver's side, one on the passenger side over there. And then as you come down are going to be the mounting tabs right here for our bolts. There's one here and then one over on the passenger side. Let's go ahead and feed our fan assembly up into place. to get these lined up, push those up. And then once those are up in the mounting tabs, we can then adjust our bolt holes here to line up. Get that started. And we're going to get the bolt started on the passenger side. Get this lined up. All right, have that installed. Now that we have our bolts in, we're going to use our little stubby ratchet here to get up in there. And when tightening this down, we just want to basically seat them and then just snug them gently. And let's go ahead and repeat for the other side. All right, it's bottomed out. A little bit more. That's it. Let's install our harness. Now our tab here had broken, but that's not a big issue. We're going to go ahead and anchor that in a second. Let's install our push pins here. And then install our connector for our fan assembly. Line that up. You're going to hear and feel engage. Let's come on back here. Going to use a tie strap. Now the harness itself is pretty stable. You really don't need this, but if you find it necessary, you want to go ahead and just have a little extra security there. You just tie that up like so. And then let's go ahead and install our horn connector. Line that up, push it on. You're going to hear and feel engage. And then on the side here, on the harness, it attaches to the cross member. So you're going to go ahead and press that mounting tab into that hole. Install a splash shield. Line up our mounting tabs and get our screws started. We're just going to continue this process all the way around the front and to the other side. Once they're all installed, we're going to come back and snug them all down. Now let's go ahead and snug everything down. And just want to snug these down gently. And just repeat this process right across. Now that we have all of our screws installed, we want to go ahead and install our 3 plastic push pins. Press that in, lock it in, and we're going to repeat this process for the other 2. Grab the wheel. Good, line up the wheel studs. Let's go ahead and install the lug nuts. Ideally, you want to get all these started by hand first. Then we'll go ahead and snug them down. When tightening these down, you want to go ahead and do it in a crisscross pattern. Now let's go ahead and torque down our lug nuts to 94 foot-pounds. Prefer to do this in a crisscross pattern. And you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.